Republican Senator Tim Sheehy of Montana was recently left speechless after being asked about the Trump administration's decision to cancel $1 billion in clean energy funding that was intended for something called the Pacific Northwest Hydrogen Hub, which would benefit Montana. In a Tuesday interview on CNN's The Source, Sheehy was asked about these funding cuts, which were announced by the Department of Energy earlier this month. Now, Sheehy, of course, is going to dodge the question entirely and instead link the DOE's decision to the government shutdown.
Just canceled $1 billion to the Pacific Northwest Hydrogen Hub. Part of that covers your state of Montana, and your governor actually praised it when it was happening, saying it was going to create good-paying Montana jobs and boost American-made energy. They just yanked $1 billion from that. So is that taking away good-paying jobs in Montana?
Of course it is. As I said, we want the government to be open. You should be saying this to Chuck Schumer, who's closing the government down. I'm agreeing we should have the government open right now. This is an unnecessary shutdown.
Government shutdown. I mean, you've been talking to Chuck Schumer right now. It ain't Schumer who shut down the government. It's the Republicans. The Republicans who saw that the ACA tax subsidies were going to go away at the end of the year decided to do absolutely fuck all about it. I mean, what? What do you mean? ACA don't care. Don't care. Now, well, you should care. 20 million people are about to see a massive increase in their health insurance costs. They might be a little bit angry about that. I'm just saying. Okay. But, a lot of these Republicans in Congress, not all of them, but many of them, basically shrugged and were like, we got ours. Fuck everyone else. Don't really care. Now, I say not all of them because you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's calling for, hey, why don't we extend those ACA subsidies? Now, of course, she's doing so because her daughters are affected. Okay, it follows the classic line of, I don't care until it affects me. Very important. Still, I'm glad to have Marjorie Taylor Greene on the right side of an issue for once. But let's not ignore how she got there. Okay, yes, it affected someone that she cares about, and so now we got to fix that. Okay, well, hey, good luck. I hope we do, actually, and I hope the Republicans do extend those credits and agree to open the government. I mean, that's pretty much the only way, hopefully, that I can see this government opening and those 20 million people not having to pay out the nose for insurance. Okay. Now, that said, Collins, by the way, is going to keep pressing Sheehy on this issue and basically pointed out that, that project, the thing that you basically didn't address at all in your first answer, it's not losing the funding because of the shutdown. Take a look.
But on this hub specifically, I mean, that is the Trump administration didn't have to make that decision. They decided to pull that $1 billion from your state. Do you disagree with that?
Well, I think the reality is we wouldn't be here if the government was still open. And now we're going on week 3 of a pretty unnecessary shutdown.
Well, actually, Chris Wright, the energy secretary, I asked him about that project specifically, and he said they would have done that even if the government wasn't shut down, that was months in the making even before the government shut down.
Well, it's unfortunate we're still shut down. We shouldn't be.
Okay. That's unfortunate. But I must stick to my talking points. Democrats bad? Bro, you just got cooked. Okay? That was awesome. Now, social media, of course, weighed in with, one person saying, quote, I've never seen someone made to look so patently foolish without the interviewer ever suggesting this was so. He just avoided the question and looked the fool. Another added, speechless at the end. Well done. Yeah, again, she didn't even try to get him with a gotcha, right? She's just like, actually, no, I already talked to Chris Wright, and he said he was going to cancel this anyway, so it has nothing to do with the shutdown. Sorry, your talking points aren't going to work here because that's just not even the reality. Okay. Again, what makes this even better is, again, the fact that Trump did, he pulled back these projects not because of that shutdown. He's using this as an excuse, right? To do what was already laid out in Project 2025. Okay. Project 2025 basically called to pull funding from both blue states and green energy projects. And Trump's going along with that because he doesn't like either of them. He doesn't like blue states or green energy. I mean, he has this weird hatred of windmills. Okay. It is a weird and bizarre hatred of windmills. Oh, they're very noisy. They kill all the birds. They're killing the whales. Okay? They're killing the whales with the sound and the noise, and they go rear, 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 and they also give you cancer. What? No, none of that. No, none of that's true. None of that's true. But anyway, the thing is, he's pulling this funding. Yes, because of Project 2025, he's using the shutdown as an excuse. I'm going to punish Democratic states, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing is, he's not just going after Democratic states. Montana is not a Democratic state. It's not a blue state. It's a red state. So in this project, this $1 billion project, it affects Trump's own voters. Okay? He is hurting his own voters with these. For example, I talked about yesterday a battery plant in Tennessee getting their $100 million government grant pulled by this administration, which might end up ending this project. We don't know. Okay? Now, that project, the Ascend battery plant, would have provided a lot of good paying jobs for people in that area and economic growth. I'm sorry, did I say Tennessee? I meant Kentucky. Okay. So now that battery plant, again, as a result of Trump pulling that funding, they have had to scale back that project. And it might end up still being canceled. So, oops, except no, not really, because it's on purpose. Look, this administration wants to kill the green energy industry, obviously. And they want to do so because a bunch of ancient fossil fuel barons want to continue to corner all the energy markets. They can't stand to have competition from green energy. That said, green energy, wind power is cheaper than coal, and solar power is growing massively. Okay, and so you can't really put that genie back in the bottle. Green energy will continue to grow as the technology gets better. And we can either grow with it and use it to our advantage, or let China continue to eat our lunch. And apparently we know what direction we're going right now. Okay, and this is as climate change continues to get worse. Okay, now that said, when you think about it, though, yes, this is hurting Trump's own voters, but does he care? No. Ask the farmers, okay? Ask the farmers how they're doing right now. Especially since we're bailing out Argentina. We're going to give $40 billion to Argentina. Okay, Javier Milei, who destroyed his own country's economy, I'm going to bail him out. Because he's one of Donald Trump's friends. Okay? By the way, we're doing that while Argentina becomes China's newest source of soybean imports. Used to be the United States. Yes, we would ship tons of soybeans to China. They would buy them from our farmers, but they're not doing that anymore because of Donald Trump's trade war. Look, Trump has raised the price of groceries. Inflation obviously still rampant. Insurance is about to go up by at least 75%. Among many other disastrous impacts that Trump has had on our country, our economy, and our way of life. No wonder why Sheehy's brain had absolutely broken when being called out, okay, and actually given factual information. He had absolutely no answer at all. So, Caitlin Collins, keep it up. Whatever you're doing there, keep doing it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.